In the quiet, rolling hills just beyond the Whispering Woods, nestled a village so cozy it looked like it was stitched from a patchwork quilt. This village, called Steeplebury, had a rather unusual neighbor. But Ignis was not that kind of dragon. Ignis was a magnificent creature with scales the color of twilight and eyes that sparkled like amber. But instead of fire, Ignis breathed steam, gentle, warm, sweet-smelling steam. You see, Ignis wasn't a fan of terrorizing townsfolk. He was a fan of tea. Earl Grey, chamomile, peppermint, oolong, you name it. He loved it. His lair, a large airy cave at the top of Mount Cinder, wasn't filled with piles of gold, but with chests of tea leaves from all corners of the world. And in the center of his cave, on a large flat rock, was his most prized possession, a set of magical teacups. These weren't just any teacups, carved from enchanted moonstone. They had a peculiar magic. Whatever tea you brewed in them, the cups would enhance its properties. A cup of chamomile for sleep would grant the most peaceful dreams. A cup of ginger tea for a cold would chase the sniffles away in an instant. A cup of strong black tea for energy would make you feel like you could climb Mount Cinder twice over. The villagers of Steeplebury adored Ignis. Every afternoon at precisely 4 o'clock, a plume of fragrant steam would rise from his cave, signaling the start of his daily tea party. The children would often hike up the gentle slope, carrying baskets of freshly baked scones and jars of clotted cream and strawberry jam. Ignis would welcome them with a warm, steamy puff and pour them tea from his magical cups. They'd share stories, play games, and the air would be filled with laughter and the clinking of porcelain. But this peaceful existence was about to be stirred up. Far away, in a wonky tower that leaned so much it seemed to defy gravity, lived a trio of misfit wizards. And finally, there was Pip, the youngest, who was great at illusions, but was so clumsy he often tripped over his own spells. One day, while leafing through a dusty old tome titled Tremendous Teaware and Their Tantalizing Talents, his eyes widened. "This is it," he declared, startling his chicken hat. "With these teacups, our spells will never go wrong again. We'll be the most powerful wizards in the land." Alara and Pip were immediately on board. They imagined a world where their potions worked perfectly and their illusions did untendled in magical ropes. Their plan was simple, or so they thought. They would sneak into the dragon's lair at night, snatch the teacups, and be back in their leaning tower before sunrise. So, under the cover of darkness, they packed their wands, a few mislabeled potions, and a very large enchanted burlap sack, and set off for Steeplebury. That night, Ignis was enjoying a particularly soothing cup of lavender tea before bed. He was just drifting off when he heard a clatter from the entrance of his cave. Peeking out, he saw 3 cloaked figures fumbling in the dark. One of them tripped over a loose stone and a cascade of marbles, which were definitely not supposed to be marbles, scattered across the cave floor. It was the misfit wizards. She, Pip, you, buffoon, Morvin whispered loudly. You'll wake the beast. Ignis let out a soft, amused puff of steam. Beast, he was hardly a beast. He decided to have a little fun. As they tiptoed closer to the teacups, Ignis let out a long, low whistle that sounded suspiciously like a boiling kettle. The wizards froze. What was that? Elara squeaked. Maybe it's the pre-fire rumble, Pip suggested, trembling. I do believe those are my teacups, he said, his voice a deep, calm rumble. The wizards shrieked. Pip created an illusion of a terrifying manticore, but in his panic he made it bright pink and covered in polka dots. It looked more like a party decoration than a threat. Elara threw a potion, hoping for a smokescreen, but she'd mixed up her labels again. A cloud of rainbow-colored bubbles filled the cave, smelling faintly of bubblegum. Morvin, in a last-ditch effort, pointed his wand at Ignis. You may breathe steam, dragon, but I wield true magic. Ignis simply looked at him, took a deep breath, and exhaled. Not a trickle of steam, but a powerful, hot, concentrated jet. It wasn't fire, but it was hot enough to melt the tip of Morvin's wand into a droopy spiral. The wizard stared, defeated. Just then, the villagers, woken by the commotion and the snoring tea barrel, arrived with lanterns and pitchforks mostly garden hose and rolling pins. A young girl named Lily, one of Ignis's most frequent tea party guests, stepped forward. "What are you doing to our dragon?" she demanded. Seeing the united front of the villagers and their steam-breathing friend, the wizard slumped. "We just wanted the teacups," Morvin mumbled, "so our magic would finally work right." Ignis looked at them, and he didn't see villains. He saw three people who were just trying their best and failing spectacularly. Morvin, Elara, and Pip looked at the magical teacups, then at the kind dragon and the friendly villagers. They realized their mistake wasn't their clumsy magic, but their clumsy approach. From that day on, things changed. The wizards didn't steal the teacups. Instead, they became regular visitors to Mount Cinder. Ignis taught them about the calming properties of different teas. Morvin found that a cup of peppermint tea helped him focus his incantations. Elara discovered that a sip of jasmine tea helped her remember her potion ingredients. And Pip learned that a little bit of Ruibo's tea helped steady his nerves, making his illusions more impressive than ever. They never became the most powerful wizards in the land, but they did become much better. Their tower still leaned, but it was now a much happier, less chaotic place. And every afternoon, at precisely 4 o'clock, you could see a plume of steam rise from Mount Cinder, followed by the occasional puff of rainbow-colored bubblegum-scented smoke. The tea parties were bigger, louder, and a lot more magical than ever before, proving that the strongest magic of all is the one brewed from kindness and a shared cup of tea. Thanks so much for watching our story today. If you enjoyed spending time with Ignis and his friends, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing adventures. See you next time.